leaves make the trees strong, and I am gonna love you forever. Oh, yeah. I am gonna love you forever. Heart's chamber, you in charge of. You stay on my mind and soul.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Mother, Sisters, Daughters, Coffee, and Tea. I am your host, Trina G.
And I am your host, Lady J.
Hello, everybody. Welcome,
Hi.
welcome, welcome.
Good to
Nice
see
of you
you.
all
How you
to
doing,
join
daughter?
us. I am doing well, Mother. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How you like my
Woo.
Christmas decorations?
Your background is amazing. Peace on earth. Yes. Can we get a little bit more peace?
Yeah, I did this all by myself.
That looks good, Mother. I like it.
My first time doing a flower arrangement. Let me show the people my tree on the wall.
Go on and show the people. Lord, you got to show the people, y'all.
I got to give the people what they want.
Get the people what they want now.
I did that all by myself.
Nice. Well, I hope the people have their coffee and their tea.
I have my tea.
I have my coffee.
Yes, 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 yes. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome, everyone.
I gotta.
Welcome.
You can't look. I'm showing off today. She said I'm over the top, but look at the blouse.
She is over tip top. Look at you. Look at you. I can't. But all right, people. Life being single, married, divorced, and being a widow all looks different to all. But what does it look like for you? Do you feel traditional way of relationship in general is overrated?
I'm gonna take these off so you can see my eyes.
Let's see the minds.
Relationships can take a toll on you, on the person mentally. You have to forgive me because I have to read this. I haven't got good yet, y'all. So you have to just bear with me as I tap into this the toll on what we got here. If you see a shadow, I know it's really strange. I can't get rid of it. Okay, here we go. Relationship can take a toll on you mentally, spiritually, and physically, but you do not ever notice it happening before you read the. You do not know that it's happening before you reach the next peak. Knowing the signs before all your energy has run out help you target the problem. What are some of the problem? In other words, if you don't know that there's a problem in your relationship, and if you have not noticed the signs, believe you me, we're going to talk about it can drain you. It can work you.
Yes, it definitely can. Our mission is bringing enlightenment to the masses of our brown skin, the royalty within, our history, and the fight to educate, emancipate, and liberate the minds. How can one understand if they have not been taught?
And if you have any questions, thoughts, or response, please ding in
Ding, ding,
below and
ding.
hit the notification bell. First of all, you have to join us at Mother, Sister, and Daughter Coffee and Tea. Then there's going to be a notification. But during the show, you can ask questions, you can make comments, and we do our best to answer all questions.
Yes,
Let's have fun
indeed.
today.
Let's have a whole lot of fun, okay? Now let's sip some coffee and spill some tea. I got
Yes,
my
we do.
coffee.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As we look around our neighborhoods and see the lights and trees, it becomes clear that money is about to be spent and the food is about to be amazing. Well, for some, because not everyone can cook. But I digress.
Everybody cannot cook, but
Everybody can.
thank God for those that try.
Yes, yes,
I
hallelujah.
remember once upon a time I didn't know how to cook real well. I think, you know, at
I,
all.
I don't
So
I don't have
I don't know. I don't know. So we are celebrating the holidays, and just another excuse to be closer to one another. Why is it when the holidays come, if you ain't got no man, I
Ooh,
said ain't.
ain't got
If
no
you
man.
ain't got no man, you try to get one for Christmas and New Year. I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying. Why is it during this time of the year we feel that we have to be close, even though we're close to our families, we're close to our children, but we have to be close to someone um, that just to have them there for no other reason but just to have the presence of a man or a woman,
mm,
because sometimes it can get lonely for some in that area. Not saying that you're lonely, but you're missing out on the holiday spirit you feel that comes with having the companion or the mate or the husband or the boyfriend or whatever you want to call it. So why is that during this time? I understand that time. Been there, done that. You know, I call it a holiday mental breakdown. Cause
mhm.
after the holiday, you want to get rid of that joker or that sister.
I
You done got your
got my gift.
gifts. You done got everything that you need. And now, after January 2nd, they gone. I'm just saying. So we are going to talk about Black love today. We talked.
Yes.
We talked about last week. We talked about Black uh, love and history and jumping the broom. And in the 1800s, that was a big thing. And jumping the broom, they jumped the broom. The era of love. And you can read this article in Essence magazine. Shout out to Essence. And they have different eras that they talk about Black love. So we talked about the 1800s, which was the Black love jumping the broom. Then we talked about the 1900s of love leading the way. The 1900s made opened up doors that we as Black men and women could have careers and jobs and go college educated, and now we are marrying and having family. They had children back in the day. They had their children, and it seemed to be okay, not without struggle, because there were still struggles in the Black community with Black and white, the fairness of everything. But yet and still, 1900 began the era of strong Black love and what it really meant to be married to that Black man or woman. Because sometimes, I always hear, oh, it's hard being married to a Black man. Oh, it's hard being married to a Black woman. You don't know the struggle.
Mm.
Not saying we were in the struggle, but we come from it. And some of those things was handed down to us. So we are still in that fight to keep our marriage together. 1950 was, I'm sorry, 19, I can't read it. 1950 to the 1960. Man, we were fighting for love. Free love, you just do what you want to do. Marry who you want to marry, be with who you want to. It did not matter. Let me tell you, them 60s and 70s was something else. But the 60 to the 70 love, 1960 to the 70 love was that free love. We had to fight for love. Not only did we have to fight for love within the system, girl, we had to fight girl. We had to fight everybody
Oh
just to get
God.
our man. As they say, for every fine man, there are probably 20 women. And
Prob.
I'm telling you, those 20 women was trying to get theirs in.
They were trying to get that
But
woman.
1960s and the 1970s was an era that it was so loving to me. I remember just everybody seemed so loving. No matter your struggle, no matter what you was going through, the husbands were struggle. We have a good example. Look at Good Times, the TV show. Flo and James Evans. Man, the struggles that they had, but the love was even stronger than the struggle. And that's some of the things that we have to remember. Now, when you get down to the 1970s and on, 1970s, baby, that was in living color.
Ooh.
Yes, baby. It was more interracial marriages, more stuff going on with different people. Hey, love was love. And
Love was
they was
love.
gonna love who they wanted to love. So the 70s, you got the 70s through the 80s started this era of I'ma love who I want to love. And there's nothing you can do about it. Black, white, homosexual, gay, whatever it was, I'm gonna love who I want to love. That was love and in color. How could nothing better than that? But
Mm-mm.
nothing better than that because you know what? In the 70s, I'm telling you, I just love to see black couples, black couples. Now we're gonna move on to the 80s. We got
Ooh,
the black power couples on the silver screen. I
look.
got some tea for you. Hold
Ooh, come
on.
on. Come on. Bless us with it now.
Let me start off with the number one couple, black couple on the silver screen. None other than the Ruby D and Ozzie Davis. They was married 57 years, along with having careers spanning over the length of their marriage. Guess what? They had their struggles. They went through their thing, but it was a death till you do part. They stayed married 57 years, and they
Ooh,
did that until death did them part. I honor Ozzie Davis and Ruby D, one of my favorite couples, top couples that I love from another era, but shows us how working together, loving together, living together, and having careers together, your marriage and anything you can do will work. Another power couple coming up in the 50s, none other than Dr. Martin Luther King and Miss Coretta Scott King. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. Those were some powerful people back then. She marched alongside with her husband as well
mm.
as keeping her children at home. As her husband went out sometime without her, she had to stay at home and take care of her home and her children. But nonetheless, he was in her prayers. She had his back. And there was a lot of times you've seen her marching with him. As you can see in several pictures, Miss King marched alongside of her husband. She worked with him, sometimes foregoing her own career to help his career. Something to think about, ladies. Is it worth some time forgetting your career? Not forgetting, foregoing your career for the sake of
Mm-hmm.
your husband and your family? I'm just saying.
Questions I need to be
Sometimes
answered.
it can be good, sometimes it may not work
Mm-hmm.
out. In my opinion, from what I experienced, it was a good thing. It was good for me to stay at home with my children. So I seen the fruits of my labor. But that's just a power couple. Dr. King and Miss Coretta Scott King. Another
Ooh,
powerful
come on now.
award-winning couple, none other than Denzel and Pauletta Washington.
Let's
Let me tell you,
go.
that's a powerful couple. They are not only powerful in their own right with their careers. Pauletta had her own career too. She also was a woman that backed her husband, but she was in the shadow, but she was not lazy. She was writing plays and she was doing different projects and taking care of her four children, along with her Oscar award winning husband, Denzel Washington. He had a big, huge career. Such a big career. Only a big woman with a big heart and a big bottle of boldness could handle such a man as Denzel Washington. And
Okay.
they have stayed married for 36 years. Hello,
Amazing.
Denzel and Pauletta
Hello.
Washington. I'm liking that. Our next, da 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 da, our next power couple in the Hollywood scene is none other than Samuel Jackson and LaTanya Richardson. Hello, let me tell you, that Samuel Jackson is something. I bet LaTanya can handle him really well. I'm just saying. That is another power couple, award-winning, different awards. You may not hear a lot about his wife, but believe you me, she has a career of her own while she's taking care of her husband and help push his career. Push his career. Come on, ladies. Let's think about this sometime.
Something to think about.
Now, my last power couple, and there are many. These are just some I chose. Will and Jada Smith. Hello,
Huh?
bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do what you gonna do when they come for you? And Will and Jada came for us on the screen. We first seen them both, Fresh Fresh Prince of Bel Air, a big series, and he is still rolling. They're still rolling together, raising their two children. Hey, Willow and Jaden. Willow, Jada. Okay. Uh, raising their two children and yet moving forward in their marriage. It has not always been easy, but they are still doing what they do.
That
One
shows you.
last power couple,
Oh,
another. Then she got her own beehive. I'm talking about the queen bee. I'm talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z. They're another power couple living the life. I tell you, but they yet give all their time and their talent to their community. I love the way she keeps her family together. No matter what the naysayers say, these power couples are making it in Hollywood.
well, all right.
Yes, I'm going to move on. The White House takeover.
Ooh,
Come on here now. Oh, let me do this here.
go on and sip that tea.
Yes, they did. They came up in there and they took it over. We're talking about none other than my president, President Barack Obama and Lady Michelle Obama. I tell
Come
you, we got
on.
the doctor in the house. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. They took it over, and they took it over with great style and all the swag you want to see. I never seen a president that could walk off a plane and you go, Michelle, my hat's off to you, baby, because you got it. Michelle also has her own career and her own, a lawyer. Now she's a doctor. So let me tell you, power couples, you can have a career, both of you, and you can take care of your family and handle your business. As
Yes,
these power
indeed.
couples I just named, I'm not saying they hadn't had no issues, but I am saying they are still together doing and setting example for Black people today.
Yes,
I
indeed.
mean, hey, if I get married again, I continue want to be married longevity. I was married a
Hmm.
long time, and unforeseen, God seeing something else. But I tell you, when we talk about these couples, it gives me inspiration, and I'm inspired every day that Black love still is here.
It is. It definitely is. That is something to always celebrate. Black love. Black
Yes,
love is beautiful
beautiful,
in
beautiful.
all aspects. All aspects. Always take the time to celebrate Black love. If you
Right,
don't celebrate us, who will?
that's right. Oh, what is this, Michelle? What?
She said Michelle had her own. She dope.
Oh,
Look.
hey, give a shout out if your Black love is lasting 1 year, 2 years. It doesn't make a
Oh,
difference. Hey,
look.
Black love is Black love. And if
It
you're
is.
making it work, you're making it work. Because let me tell you, relationships are no joke.
Woo. Say that again for the people in the back.
Relationship for the people in the back are no joke.
All right. All right. Come
It's
on.
no joke. It's no joke.
At all.
Nobody
So,
said it was going to be easy.
oh, nobody told me.
Nobody told me. Sing, Trina, that the road
Watch
is
out now.
easy.
And
I don't
I
believe
don't believe
he
he's
brought
brought
me
me
this
this
far
far to
to
leave
leave
me.
me.
All right.
Hey!
Now, grab your coffee mugs and your teacups, whatever you choose, and join us as we talk about the ships in the lives of the people. Okay?
Yeah, yes.
Ships. We're going part two, people. We're going part two from last week. Because last week we was in there for a minute talking about some ships now.
Yes.
The ships
Yes.
get tiring.
Ships can sink.
Ooh, come on. Where the life
Ships
raft?
got a crack in it. Ships are broken.
So let's look at question that needs to be answered, somebody. What do you think about traditional relationships? You know how society has shown the people what it's supposed to look like. Do you think it's overrated? Mother, what do you think? Lady J?
Well, I come from an era that believes in the traditional marriage, and I had somewhat of a traditional marriage. However, over the years, I have seen things change, and I had to question some of my own beliefs and my own way of thinking. And I had to broaden my thinking. I had to broaden my horizon to try to understand other people and their love. And I come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter who you are, you have the right to love whom you choose. People may not agree with it, people may disagree with it. So I do think that traditional marriage, in the traditional sense, can be overrated simply because back in the 50s, the 30s, and the 40s, you didn't find many women going out and working and holding down jobs. They held down the family because it was difficult, babysitting. All these different variables came up in their life. So traditionally, you had a woman that sat at home, took care of her children while the husband went out and took care of the money part of it. But we did find that with that man having so much pressure on him sometimes, that it caused issues within the household.
Mm-hmm.
So traditionally, the man get out there, he's supposed to go to work, he make the money, the wife stay at home and take care of the household. However, did we recognize what the husbands was going through, being so stressed, trying to make enough to take care of their family? So yes, sometimes a traditional marriage can be overrated because of the stigma and all the stuff that they put on a traditional marriage. So I do believe it can be overrated. I do, however, think some of the things that came from a traditional marriage, we could bring it into today's marriage and add, like you add a little bit of sugar and you add a little bit of
Sugar
coffee,
spice.
add a little bit. You take away from something from each. So yes, traditional marriage can be overrated. Who's wearing white dresses nowadays? I'm just saying.
Just
Who's wearing white
saying.
dresses nowadays? But I mean, a lot of that's okay. Let me say this. Don't y'all start making all kinds of stuff because I said white dresses. That was an example. But it's a tradition that have held over since time. You wear your white dress. You're pure. You're supposed to be a virgin, so forth and so on. That's what it represents, and you get married to your husband. All these things, but traditionally, that is what happens. Today, I see different people wearing different colors. Does that mean that they not they don't have a traditional marriage, or they not doing the traditional things? They just chose another color. And that's the same way with traditional versus other marriages. You choose something else. So it is overrated.
Well, in my sense, y'all gonna hear a lot of the dogs. Again, here we go live. Let's give her a moment. She wanted this moment, so apparently I can't do nothing about that.
Who is that, Nyla?
Nebula,
Nebula. I called the baby Nyla. Okay.
Lion King. Yeah, she wanted a whole moment. I cannot deal. Still going. But traditional, because Electra asked what was traditional to us. To me, traditional is the, what did you see? Oh, you have to have the white picket fence, the husband, the wife, the
Two
the
kids.
dog, the kids, the husband go to work, the wife stay home, cook, clean, bake, sew, whatever else is needed. The husband comes home, sit on the couch, he gets served his dinner, all that good stuff, and the wife just rinse and repeat. It's the same thing over and over again. It wasn't no more of the independence for the self. And I think with the traditional of relationship, what it had tied into was the workforce, because the workforce, it was only the men who were able to go out and get certain jobs. Women were not able to go out there and work like that. So that kind of brought everything into the home, and how the men continue to keep that stigma of how it should look. And so when you got the woman that was okay, I want to do things on my own, they seen that as like being a rebel, like they didn't want to listen, you didn't want to conform to what they're saying it should be. For instance, like today, you have a lot of people that are in relationships that don't want to get married, and then you have a lot of people that are in open relationships. Then you have a lot of people are in situationships. We don't know what we're doing, but we're just gonna do what we want to do. And then that was not seen as okay if you were not married and living together and working on having a child. There was something wrong with you. If you were
Absolutely.
just single and you're out there working and doing the things that you need to do, there was something wrong with you
Mhm.
because they didn't see women as being strong. And what they were forgetting was that as strong as we were, the
Or
tools and are the tools that we had to help elevate the men was great,
mhm.
So that's what, for me, that's what I think traditional
and
was
we
looks like then.
Yeah, and we make our own traditions. You
Hmm.
can make your own traditions in your marriage. And
Right.
what the traditional marriage did back in the day, it put a lot of pressure on men and women. Women had to be married by the age of 25. If you wasn't married by 30, you was an old maid. You was considered an old maid.
Hmm.
Um, you had to do this. You had to have the babies. You had to go. Now, I love marriage. Don't get me wrong. Don't now now I may counsel and talk about certain things. It does not mean that I
Hmm.
don't like a certain thing. I
Right.
love marriage. My belief system has nothing to do with what's right.
Hmm.
My belief system when I talk, because what's right for you may not be right for me. That's my
Exactly.
belief. See, God created us all. But one thing he did tell us is that we must love. He didn't say love if they wasn't married, love if they did marry, love if there were two men or two women. He just said love.
Right.
So when we look at the traditional marriage, it's not what it is back in the day. We even have same-sex parents adopting and becoming parents. You
Hmm.
would have never thought of this in the 60s, in the 50s. You wouldn't have thought of that. But these are yet families. Is this a traditional family in this sense? No, it may not be what we was brought up to think, but it is their tradition. So sometimes your own traditions is something. I remember when I got married, my father said he wasn't going to say, um, I think they said, who gives this woman to be married to this man? My father said, I'm not giving her away to nobody. And there had been a tradition through the vows. You're supposed to say that, and you're supposed to
Hmm.
say, "Yeah, I give her away." My father said, "No, he wasn't saying that." So he broke that tradition within our family. But traditionally, it's what everybody thought. Excuse me. You get married, and the wife stays home. And thank God to those of us wives that was able to stay home and take care of families.
Hmm.
But there's another story to those women that stayed home and pushed their husband's career and took care of the families. Let me tell you, even some of the women I talked about in the power couple, sometimes you can lose yourself traditionally in a marriage because you feel there's nothing there for you but husband and children. The white picket fence, the house,
Hmm.
folding clothes, mopping floors. After a while, when those children are grown and gone, do you still have the traditional relationship? I don't know.
Hmm.
But we have to remember what's good for one couple may not be good for another couple. So is it a tradition for a man to work nowadays and a woman to have a career? Yes. That is
Hmm.
the tradition today. A man's gonna work and that woman's gonna have her career. Why? Because it takes two, really, to live a life, just to have a home, a nice car. And when I
Yeah.
say nice car, it could be a Volkswagen, it could be a Nissan, whatever. Just
Hmm.
to live reasonable with little worry. So is that the tradition today? Yes, it is. It looked way different than it did in the 50s and 60s. It looks way different because
Hmm.
um, it's a much bigger struggle uh, trying to care for. You can't buy a house for $4,000 anymore.
Hmm.
It's a lot different. So traditionally, I think the traditional way of marriage has kind of taken a back seat. Not saying it's gone, but I think some traditions we should keep and add to.
Yes. And some traditions should just be thrown out with the rest of the trash.
Well,
Just
I'm
saying.
glad they didn't throw out us staying at home because I tell you why. I love staying at home with my children. Yes, I miss some of the things that some of the other women had. Yes, I seen the women, what I felt they was dressing real nice. They could buy this, buy that. Not saying that my husband did not, but we had 6 children. He was military. He was a pastor in the church, and working. And then when he wasn't working, then he going back to the military. So, you know, I felt good to when my children went to school. They knew I was at home. They had breakfast and all of that. When they came home, they came home. They had snacks on the table. Their clothes was done. Everything that my children didn't have to do anything but really uh, get their clothes, put them up, eat, do homework, concentrate
Yeah,
on school,
that's pretty much it.
and that was it. And I enjoyed that. I volunteered at the school. Hey,
Hey, cousin.
oh, I love her. I have to tell a story about her. But I love taking care of my family. I love seeing my children go off. And those times that I miss not having a full-fledged career, I substituted, my husband.
Oh, she sure did.
Yeah, my husband said, yeah, you can substitute as long as you back home with the kids. So I substituted,
Lord.
and that was okay. But as the kids got older, I found that there was something missing for me. Not my children, not my husband. There was something missing for me. And so you have to really find the balance of that. And I
Yeah.
mentioned my cousin, Miss Brandy. I don't know if she ever won't tell a story, but she's been married, I think, better than 20 years, 21 years, Brandy, if you still in. And the young couple struggle, but now she can say that, hey, I'm happy. I see her with her honey bunny and her children and her grandbaby, and you work through these issues. One thing I have learned: don't put your people in your marriages.
Oh, people! Did you, I don't think they heard that back there. I think you need to say that
Let me say
again.
that again. When the Bible say you are no more one, you are two, that means leave your mom, your dad, your sister, the brothers out of your stuff.
Mm.
Because let
I
me
hope
tell you
somebody
about
caught
that.
that.
Because when you having issues and you say something negative about your spouse, that sheds a bad light on them in the eyes of their family members. So
Ooh.
now your family member don't like them on something you said. Now it's okay to vent, but
Mm.
baby, keep mamas, daddies, brothers, sisters, cousins, all of that out your relationship. I never been involved in my children's relationship, their marriages.
Mm-mm. And look, hold, and if I come to her, no lie, and say this is how I feel, she is not going to be on my side and be like, "Well, Trina, I agree with you 110%." No, if I am wrong, she's just going to tell me I'm flat out wrong, and it is what it is at that point. But you should be able to have that person you can communicate with that's
Right,
just not going to feed your ego.
right.
Just
Absolutely.
tell you the things that you want to hear to make it seem like you're okay about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you just can't do that with
Right.
everybody because you may do it to the wrong person. That one person is just want to see it fail. They're waiting in
For
the
it to fail.
trenches for you in your relationship to fail.
Yes.
And it may seem like, oh, they're your friend at the time. Nah, everybody not your friend.
And let me tell you, if mothers don't like your husbands or your boyfriend, baby, you in for a ride of your life.
Yep.
I'm just saying. And so when a daughter should talk to her mom, and a daughter should be able to talk to her mom about her marriage and those things. Sometimes we as mothers get too involved in it, and we project our feeling on our relationship on their relationship.
Mm.
So what happens, what your mother wouldn't have didn't take, she might take. What I might take, maybe my mother didn't take.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to stop projecting our stuff onto their marriages, because marriages are different. We are here to encourage and support. When they get married, the first thing the preacher always look out in all this and ask the question, is there anyone here that disagrees with that? And at that moment, if there's some disagreement, it needs to be talked about, because once we become one unit and we marry into these families,
Mm-hmm.
we have to know the boundary line. We have to know the line. You cannot keep going to your mother telling her what kind of bad dude he is. He won't work. He don't do
Mm-hmm.
this. He don't do that. What kind of image is that painting for your mother? A man that's not taking care of her daughter, a man that's not taking care of her grandchildren. So that is going to shed a negative light on that son-in-law.
Right.
Now, what the mother may not know, there may be some other issues, but the daughter is just venting and saying, trying to tell her mom, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, da 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 da. And the mom like, hold up. So now the mom feels like, I have to step in and I have to help these
Mm-hmm.
children and I have to do all this stuff. And now it's going to create an issue, because the mom is going to be looking at him cross-eyed. The daddy's going to be looking at him cross-eyed. Dude, you need a job. Well, you know what? Things happen. But I will say, we have to learn the proper way to convey to our parents and vent to our parents about our relationships on our marriages, because it can be tough for a mother or father to hear some of the things that may be going on inside of the marriage.
Right.
There's a question or comment.
A statement, yeah.
Go ahead, read it.
So the family of each spouse loves the one they are related to. They love you more than your spouse.
Absolutely.
And yeah, there are always two sides.
Absolutely. And there is. And you will find that the daughter's side going to take her side, and the husband's side is going to take his side for most parts. In my
Mm-hmm.
experience, and I can say this, my husband's side took his side, and my mom's side, I don't know whose side she was on.
She was on her own side.
She had her own side, but she was on my side, And the thing was, I didn't talk to my mother about my relationship. She developed things in her own about the relationship and what she felt he should be doing. My thing is this: yes, you may feel a certain way that they should be doing something. However, if that daughter is happy and they are working it, it's up to us to encourage and support it.
Yes.
Not talk negative about it. Because like Brandy said, it's his side, her side, and the truth. And the truth is between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Because she didn't marry his mother and he didn't marry her mother. They married into the family.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have to understand, that when you get two people come from two different sides of the world, there's going to be some issues. And mothers tend to want more for their daughters, more than they had. Mothers want, my mother wanted me to marry, a whole nother way. My father was like, okay, it don't matter. The girl married. But, and then that spilled over from her bad relationship. She tried to spill that into my relationship, and I wouldn't have it. And also for my husband's side of the family, things spilled over from his mom to me where there was no reason for it to. There was no reason. So when you go into this, know that you are not only marrying that man, you are marrying into that family, and
Oh
you are
gosh,
taking
yes.
on the knot on the name. However, it is your marriage, and the way
Yes.
you choose to handle it is on you, your husband, and God.
Oh my gosh, yes. You
It,
can't say that like loud enough
yeah,
because some families and some couples have that to where, the mother-in-law or the father-in-law oversteps.
they're
They
right.
don't know their place.
Hmm.
And for the spouses, it is your job to say respectfully,
Yes.
you stay over there.
Hmm.
This is our relationship.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, if they don't get the respect part
Hmm.
and they still not hearing you, you probably got to be a little bit more stern
Hmm.
in how you tell them
Hmm.
back off,
Hmm.
because some spouses allow the in-laws to kind of just take over and they just close themselves back into the background and just let it be. Don't let that stuff be. Don't let them
Right.
control your relationship because it's not theirs. Don't if they're
Right.
controlling your spouse and telling your spouse what your spouse is supposed to do and he does it and all that stuff, there needs to be a discussion. A discussion needs to be had because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's you and it's him. Her, him. That's what it ends up being. So you have to understand to be able to make sure you guys come together and you guys are one. So if any problems arise with the in-laws and family, cousins, all that, sister, siblings come up, you guys are a united front. Who cares what's going on in the background? But when it comes to that stuff, you guys have to show that we are in this together. No matter what we
Absolutely.
thought about
Absolutely.
last night,
Absolutely.
but when it comes to this, we are in this together.
And we cannot project what happened in our relationship onto our children's
Right.
relationship because um, some women tend who have been divorced or who have had bad relationship will tell their daughters certain things. Some women who have just had horrible relationship will
Mhm.
put that, well, if he's not doing A, B, C, and D, if he don't make this amount of money, well, you don't need him. Let me tell you, everybody talk about money and money making the marriage. No, it's not the money that makes the marriage. It's what you
Mhm.
do with the money in your marriage. It's what you do with the money in your marriage, whether it's $10 or whether it's 100,000.
Mhm.
And so we have to stop projecting our fears, our traumas onto our daughters and our son because it becomes a huger issue. Now, for me, I let my mom know if you're going to keep talking negative about my husband, then I would can't have you around the children and I can't have you around my life. I was willing to go that far because it was not about her. It was not about her relationship. It was not. It was my relationship and what I chose. And the same for my husband. If hey, if his mother couldn't stay out of our relationship, his sisters, hey, then there's nothing because this is our relationship. I had a brother, so I know how sisters feel about their brothers. And my brother was my brother. My brother wasn't perfect, but I wasn't getting in his relationship. Now, when I was
Mhm.
younger and I didn't know no better, oh yeah, no, you can't date her. No, she all over the neighborhood. You can't do this and you can't do that. Yes, I was young. I didn't know no better. But when I got married, I married young. My brother was still in junior high school when I got married. He was like 16, 15 when I got married. And I began to understand. My brother didn't like my husband because my brother felt my husband was taking me away um, from him. But he soon realized that wasn't the case. But I still not didn't enter into as I got older. I didn't get into his relationship because I began to think: would I want him in my relationship? Would I
Mhm.
want him telling me how to what my husband should do or how he should do it? We could take advice. We could listen, But that don't mean you take it all and go in your marriage. If your mom say he's a no good joker, you don't go saying to his face he's a no good joker. One thing we
Exactly.
cannot do is disrespect the men we have married. This name calling, what I hear some women do to their spouses, boyfriends, whatever. We got to stop disrespecting the brothers. We got to stop disrespecting the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you disrespect the brother, we're going to read her comment in a minute. When you disrespect the brothers, your
Mm-hmm.
children, and everybody outside that marriage is going to disrespect your husband.
Oh, that is so true. Ooh.
Everybody
Mm.
outside that marriage.
Yes, they
Mama,
will.
daddy, their sister, they are going to disrespect the man because you have not given him their respect.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Respect is unconditional.
Yeah,
Most
you're
people
opening
say,
the
you
doors
respect
for that.
me, I respect you. No, I'm going to respect you anyhow.
Right.
But never put down your man. Black, white, Asian, whatever your ethnicity is. Stop putting down your men. Stop cursing them out in the grocery stop. Stop yelling at them. Because what happened, your sons and your daughters are seeing this and they're getting into these relationships and they're doing the same thing. What you model for them
Right.
is what they are going to model for someone else.
Yeah, I mean that just that's for men as well. It's vice versa. You definitely cannot. I mean, you can, but it is highly recommended that you do not put your spouse down to your friends, to your family, because again, they will conform an opinion about them. And like Brandy has a comment says, yes, it is about respecting boundaries. A couple must talk about solid boundaries because things can become skewed. Husband and wife are to cleave to each other. It is very easy to slide toward family who will be on your side. And it is, especially if that spouse wants to be right so bad. If they want to be right so bad, well, they're gonna be like, "What my mama said, or my dad said, or my cousin think, or my uncle this and that and the third," and it's like everybody's on their team. So even when you get into that situation where it seems like everybody's on your spouse team, don't let that bother you because
Yes.
that's all hype right there. That's all hype. Because when
Oh,
a family sits and gets like that, all they're waiting is just for your relationship just to die. That's what they're waiting for, and that's when you sit up there and look at them and be like, "Oh, hey, you thought that was gonna stop me today?" No,
oh, oh,
did
oh,
you
oh,
worse.
oh, 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 like Arnold. Oh, oh, y'all remember Welcome Back Carter? He said, oh, 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 this is great. Let me tell you, ladies, keep talking about your man to your best friend. Keep
Mm-mm.
doing it. Keep telling him how no good he is. Keep telling him what he won't do. Quit telling him how good he is in the bedroom. Quit telling him all that stuff. Because you know what? They taking notes.
Yeah.
They're taking notes. And I tell you, some best friends are not your best friend. Because your
Mm-mm.
best friend will get your husband off of what they've been taking notes off of what you've been saying.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a best friend, you know she's your ride or die. Watch some of them other ones that said, girl, if I was you, you know,
Uh-huh. You're
you're not me. You're not in my
you're not.
relationship. Ask me
Yeah.
how I know. You cannot listen to all of your girlfriends about your relationship.
Everybody's not there for you.
Because I know a whole lot of a lot of friends that talk to their friends about their relationship, and now their best friend is married to their husband.
Woo! Jesus.
My grandmother taught me something. Do not fold your husband's underwear in front of another woman.
Mm.
I'm gonna let you
I
sip
like
on
that
that.
saying.
I'm gonna
Hey.
let you sip on. Don't fold your underwear in front of
Hmm.
another woman. You tell me why she said it. Mm-hmm.
Well, well, people. I know y'all hearing this now. I know y'all hearing the goodness on these relationships because relationships get tough and you want to vent. And like Brent said, you can't. You got to watch what you've been about.
Hmm.
Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what relationship you're in, marriage, friendship, singleship. It doesn't matter. You still have to watch what you've been about because you'll have people sitting there with a checklist of all the stuff you done said.
Right.
Next thing you know, it's gonna come up in a way that you may not seen coming. Now ask me how I know. Because people are not there for you. Because if your friends are there for you, they'll be able to say, hey, sis, hey, bro, this is how I feel about X, Y, and Z. Right then and there, not wait 6 months, a year, or whatever to say, hey, I feel some type of way. Look, if you felt some type of way a year ago, you should have told me. So since you waited a year ago, you might want to hold on to that thing for 2 more years.
Right.
So you guys definitely have to be careful who you talk to and know if you're sharing more than what they're giving you, question that.
Hmm.
Because in a relationship, no matter what it is, you should never be sharing more than your friend, husband, sibling, or you should not be sharing more of your information and you're only getting 2 sentences about theirs. That's the question.
Right. And now I just want to say this. Some parents are there to help. When they never say anything, they help when they see the need. But it's
Mm.
those parents that go overboard.
Oh yeah.
They see
Oh
the
God.
they think this is what you need, this is what how you need it. And if you allow your mom or your dad to continue to step on, then they feel like they can tell you whatever they want to tell you about their children, about your children, about your
Hmm.
spouse. And so we have to be careful, ladies and gentlemen, when we put our parents into our marriage. If we have a financial issue, we have to be careful about putting our parents in that
Hmm.
because sometimes it will come back to bite you in the butt.
Yes.
Be careful with that because then the parents think they will take liberty and have liberties that is not their liberties. But we sometimes put our parents in that place. I remember someone told me that my mom didn't like the decisions that I made, and I said, and I didn't like some of the decisions that she made. So you going to put your anger towards me because you don't like my decision. Did you ever ask me about your decision and some of the decisions? And parents, we
Mhm.
need to ask ourselves before we go jumping into somebody's marriage. You know, why certain daughters and sons do a certain thing. Was it from something they seen, from something you taught them?
Mhm.
You know, so, but it's my decision. Whether you think it's a good or bad decision, it's my decision.
Right.
Whether you think he's tall, dark, and handsome, it's my decision. Whether he's dirt rich, poor, my decision.
Exactly.
It's up to us to, as a family unit, these two families come together and encourage these marriages. When I read the stories on all the marriages that I spoke about, I seen how they came together as a unit. I don't know when it happened.
Mhm.
I'm sure there was some boundaries being gone, but somewhere along the line, families came together or families got left.
Oh yeah.
And you don't want to leave no one out, but if somebody is there to destroy your house,
Mhm.
what are you gonna do? If somebody's inside your house, you have built, you have fixed up, and it looks good, and they come in your house and they want to fight and throw and tear up things, what are you gonna? You're
Mhm.
gonna put them out.
Oh. Ooh.
You're gonna put them out.
Bye.
So sometimes we have to stand strong and put them out.
Yes.
Cousin, brother, sister, mama, that you, if you're gonna continue to be negative in my marriage and not pray for me, not
Mhm.
encourage me, not let's sit down and have a family talk,
Right.
don't talk at all.
Yeah.
Don't talk at all. Because it's a family thing.
Yeah.
It's a family thing.
You know how they say it takes a village? It is similar in relationships. You need to have those people that you can piggyback off on and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Have you ever experienced this? Or, if you did experience it, how did you deal with it? Not saying, they're going to take exactly what you're saying, but they're asking these questions because they're searching for help. So if
Right.
you do have those friends that's like, hey, XYZ, let them talk to you, but don't sit up there and just take everything they're giving you. And then instead of you giving them something back, you're taking what they're giving you and taking it to somebody else.
Right.
It's not for somebody else to know if they came to you. So you have to learn how to differentiate your conversations, what to talk about with other people and what not to talk about with other people. Because
Absolutely.
sometimes you're like, okay, this is my friend, but then you may have another best friend. And we're like, oh, best friend. So and so came to me and talked to me about da 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 da. But you don't know what motives your best friend have.
Right.
So you have to be careful who you share information with. That's why I make it my business to make sure when information is being shared with me, I make it known that I'm not going to say anything unless you want me to. If you don't care about me talking about it to somebody else to get, feedback,
Right.
let me know that. But I communicate that. Again, go back to communication. It's all about communication. But
Yeah.
just be careful who you communicate to. Just be careful about the discussions that you are having and knowing that you just can't have discussions with everybody.
Everyone. No
Everybody
way.
is not your friend. Everybody
Not
is not there to
at
have
all.
your back. Everybody is not there to lift you up. You're going to have those people there to just drag you down, and all they want to do is continue to drag you down. They're going to be that little devil on the side of you. Girl, do it. Boy, you know you can do that.
Right.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, girl. I got your back. No, no, she don't. If she ain't had your back and now she want to have your back, she ain't gonna have it. She got her own back. He got his own back. So y'all, you guys just be careful of those things because our relationships are so important,
It
and
is.
and you have so many run and tell that. That's what I'm gonna call them, the run and tell that.
They running and telling
They
you.
run it and telling everything. While you sitting there thinking everything's good, they're looking at you sideways because they know all of your business.
Absolutely.
So we actually have to take time and look at those things and say, okay, let me be mindful who I'm sharing my
Information.
personal information with.
Absolutely.
It's not like you're going to a psychologist and they're bound by law. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, this is confidential. No, your information with your friends are not confidential. Now,
Right.
if they tell you, yo, this is not going nowhere between you and I, and you haven't told nobody else, and then somebody else hear it, side eye, okay,
Right.
side eye. Don't start second guessing yourself saying, well, I thought somebody heard me and maybe that's how they found out the information. Mm-mm. No, they open their mouth. Oh, Catherine, you are right. That's why you have to pray about who you allow in your life. Let me tell you something. You can pray who you want in your life and you can pray who you want out. Out. God remove the
Don't kill
yang
them.
down.
Don't kill them.
Don't get just remove them.
Don't
I
kill them.
mean, keep them alive, but just show
Don't kill them. Don't kill them.
them the door. Exit. Either way. You
Exit
know,
stage left or right. Take your pick.
just remove them, and and also pray about you being able to see, because sometimes we let our problems and our feelings clutter our minds,
Our thoughts.
and when our thoughts are cluttered, we may think the worst.
Right.
And when you think the worst, you're just opening Pandora's box. So
Right.
now you done thought the worst. Now you're running him or her off, and now him or her are just like out the door because you let your thoughts and all the negativity clutter your mind. So
Right.
you got to
Right.
declutter, people. Declutter.
Yeah. And the thing you can't your dad used to say, let's discuss this next Tuesday. It's Wednesday. And I often wondered, and so by Tuesday get here, you don't even know what you were talking about. Some
Mm-hmm.
arguments are so petty, but it's good. But you have to give one another time to think
Yes.
about the answer. We as women, if we say go take out the trash, we mean right now. Now. Men, on the other hand, honey, would you get the trash? Okay, I'm gonna get it.
Yep. You just asked. You didn't say when. You wasn't specific.
But then, okay, now, 30 minutes pass and she walked past that trash can. Didn't I ask him to take out the? Well, we wouldn't say, didn't I ask? We would say, didn't I tell him to take out that trash can? Honey, I asked you to take out the trash can. Okay, babe, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
The question is when. When you gonna
Now she's got a little something boiling up.
get it? Mm-hmm.
Much as I do around here, he can't take out the trash. I just asked him to take out the trash. Now she's getting mad. She's getting attitude. So then she go, never mind, I do it myself. And she, and he goes, I said we're gonna take it out. What's wrong? Well, I asked you to take it out an hour ago. You still haven't taken it out. Honey, I'm gonna take it out. You know what we have to learn to do? Honey, did you mind taking out the trash? Okay, go on about your business.
Look now, that would save you a lot of time and
A
energy.
lot of time, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
headache. You don't even have to get in an argument. But
Nope.
we want it right now. I said do it right now. He's not your child.
Oh, say that again.
He's not your child.
Mm.
Now, we have to learn just to compromise.
Oh,
Men
that's a
to
big
me
word.
are different. Men take longer to process things. They want to process it. Honey, we need a dresser for the girls because their clothes are running all over the room. Every time you walk in there, there's clothes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Yes, pick your battle. Say, okay. Now I'm waiting for an answer. Now this really happened. My girls was in a room and clothes was everywhere because you got all these girls clothes everywhere. And I said, honey, I said we need to go buy another Chester. And he looked at me. He said, okay. Now he could see the clothes everywhere because he would go, why are all these clothes? Well, because they need another uh, Chester, a dresser. Okay. So I went on about my business. I talked to him again. I said, honey, you know, we really need to get a Chester, another dresser to put in the girls' room because they got clothes everywhere. They get more and more clothes. And he said, so we had a conversation. He said, you know what? I don't think we could. Right now, it's not quite in our budget. We can't afford to get it. So we're going to have to wait on. I'm looking at him like, do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? And so I left it alone. I left it alone. About a month later, he came in there. He was like, what in the world? All them clothes in the girls' room. I looked at him.
Hello.
He said, oh, you know, I'm going to go down to the furniture store and go get a little chest for the girls. I said, okay, thank you. See, he was processing, but he wasn't really hearing me and seeing what I was seeing every day. But I didn't badger him about it. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't happy that I had all these girls' clothes everywhere. But when it got in his way, it became an issue.
Oh.
I'm going to say that again. When it got in his way, it became an issue. Baby, I think I need to go get these girls another dresser. Yes, dear.
Why is that?
Yes, dear. And when he turned around, I said, I told him that months ago.
Don't you want to say I told you so?
I
Shoot.
wanted to say,
Yeah.
boy. I told you. I was like, yes, dear. When he turned around, I was like, oh my God, I told him this a month ago. So
Look now.
sometimes they don't hear us. They really don't. They just don't. It's just like you speak and they're like, huh? And they don't catch it until next Tuesday.
Look. My husband told me, he said, when you tell me something, make sure I'm not doing anything. Well, let's make sure you're not doing anything. Is that gonna change anything?
No, no.
Like, hold on. I'm making sure you're not doing anything. But like, remember what I told you? Was I doing something? Nope. Nothing.
Was I watching ball or something? No.
Nope.
All you were, you were doing nothing. And that's all the time. No, I'm kidding.
Look, so Dre says, throw out or donate the old ones. They don't grow that fast. Laugh out loud. And then Catherine was saying you need discernment when it comes to the people in your life.
Woo! You better discern, discern,
Oh,
discern. Yes, yes.
you
Let me
know,
tell you, discernment is a powerful tool.
yeah. Look, and
My,
even with it, sometimes you still can.
let me tell you, you can discern some stuff. You can be like, but see, we need to discern this stuff before we get into marriage sometimes.
Oh Lord,
You know, we're so busy looking
oh,
at how good they look. I'm so in love. Oh
isn't
my
that the
God.
goodness of it in the
I'm
beginning?
marrying the guy of my dreams. Oh my God. I can't wait to wear my dress and walk down the aisle and he's standing there looking at me. Oh, I'm going to sing to him and he's going to sing to me. Oh my Lord. And we're going to dance and we're going to just,
I can't. Ooh, that dance gonna be short. Mhm.
baby, you better discern some things. Now, not saying that you shouldn't marry it, but discern some things that you might have to deal with.
Just
Say,
know things are not gonna be easy.
some of these guys don't know. Some of y'all can't cook.
Oh, bless those souls.
Some of you don't know if he leave the toilet seat up or not, and they get on your nerves.
Mm. Speaking of, got a question. You said something. So, what do you think about before? You know how traditionally, when you get married, you don't live together until you get married, right? So, what are your thoughts on living together before marriage? Because I know my thoughts. I
my
want.
my thoughts are nay, because I don't think it's a good idea, and several reasons why. Um, and you know the old saying, buying the cow,
Oh, and get the milk for free.
you're getting the milk free,
Uh huh.
and it is true in a sense. It's not for everybody, and it works for some people. But I have found some of my friends who have done that and then wind up getting married. They wind up getting divorced because the whole while they were living together, there was still some things that was hidden that they didn't know. And so when these things start coming out, once the paper came along, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, where did this come from? But I think living together, but today it's changing.
Hmm.
It's changing, but living together, I think, can pose some legal issues, can pose some other issues in certain states. Um, I know in certain states, if you're not married and you live together and you have a child, that child cannot take on the father's name. He would take on the mother's name in certain states unless you're married.
Hmm.
So those are things that are important. So when you're living together and you're going to bring children, that's something to think about. Also, but again, laws are changing to where now you have partners and you can live together, and so you can get insurance. You can do. I know in the state of California, you could do different things to make things legal. And so if there is a separation or a divorce, things are yet divided fairly. But in
Hmm.
some states, it's not like that. So, in those states that it's not like that, I would say that living together would not be good. Scripturally, it's not good at all. No. Um, and just for those reasons that I said, because um, God placed certain things in order for a reason. Yes, and we know man have turned some things around, but within your own relationship, you have to seek God. The
Mm-hmm.
government could tell you, but unless you seek God for your answer, you know, what's good for you may not be good for me.
Mm-hmm.
And what it may not be. So I personally, I personally, I don't agree with living together. However, if I had to vote on the people's thought, I would say to each his own, because I'm not trying to stop no one from loving another person, however that love may look.
Right. You know me, I'm all for it. Cause I'm like this. Let me see some things now. Because before we get in this big old investment over here, let me go and see some things right quick. Oh, you did that? Enough said. Thank you. Appreciate ya. That's just me. Like, show me, like they say, show me the money, show me the you.
But they never really show you the true them.
You never gonna see the true them
No,
at
you
all.
never will know the true man or woman, even in their grave. You gonna be like, I didn't know that.
They did what?
You know, yeah. So you never really know the person. You never know all the ins and outs, because there's always this front. There's always this something that they're putting up. I think in the marriages that I mentioned, like Ozzy Davis and Ruby D, I think they knew one another. I think they knew one another in and out, and there was no denying. And I didn't. I don't think I never read where they lived together. I think they dated and got married. Back in that time. Um, but then in some of the couples I mentioned, they did live together before marriage. So it all depends on the two people, and it's
Mhm.
your decision. It's your decision. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be careful about making those decisions, because if you choose to live with someone in certain states, you can't get that person out your house.
Mm, be careful.
If they're there longer than a certain amount of time
You
and
can't kick them out.
something happened, baby, y'all gonna have to live in the same house until somebody do something.
Hmm.
So there's a lot when you live together. Know what you're getting into, know the pros and cons, know the value of what you could lose or could gain.
Right.
Because, like I said, every state is different. But you start living with someone and you give up your house and you totally go to their home and something happens, where you going? Where are you going? So it has to be a lot of thought. It can't be this whimsical, this thing you just do real
Right.
quick.
Right.
It has to be thought out carefully. I'm moving in with you. How are the bills going to go? How is this
Hmm.
going to go? Insurance is this, food, house payment, all of these things. Because once you give up your apartment, if you don't have your own home, once you give up your apartment or your place of living, now you're dependent on that person's place of living, and it could cause some issues. And you will find yourself in a worse situation than you were when you got into it.
Right. It's always good also to have your own. Even though yes, I'm all for people wanting to move in together before they get married. I'm all for that, right? But if you're moving in from living with somebody else to living with somebody else, I don't recommend that. I recommend you have that time to live on your own, to know what that looks to know what it looks like, because I feel that you get more of a sense of who you are when you're on your own and living on your own, versus,
Mhm.
oh, I'm living with mom and I'm moving out and I'm living with Jim or
Right,
Susan or
right.
whatever. You're not really getting a sense of who you are, because every time you move, you're always moving with someone. So for those who are, single or looking to move forward in a relationship, make sure you know who you are before then,
Absolutely.
and you know what it feels like to be single and not get into a relationship and then you want to be single, because now it's like, well, I don't know what it looks like, but don't always rush into something. Like we said last week and probably a couple weeks before that, there's always red flags.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see the red flags, you already know you go into that relationship. There are going to be things that you're going to need to work on. There are going to be a lot of trials and tests, and you're going to have to endure those things if you choose to
Right.
go forward with that relationship. Not to say all relationships are just going to come just great and grand. It's just saying you seen those red flags is just telling you you're going to have some issues, and it's okay. But it's just how you go about dealing with those issues
Mm-hmm.
and going about, how you tend to deal with yourself as well. Because I feel that work on self, then you can work on everything else. If this is discombobulated, then that is going to be chaos.
Absolutely.
So
And you
definitely have to have this together.
absolutely, and we must remember all cultures are different. Um, some countries, most people do live together, and so do we speak bad of them because that's what that country chooses to do. I think we have a more European way of thinking. We come up in a more European way of thinking about different things, and then Christianity plays a part in that. And all these things come into part. So if you saved and you're a Christian, then you're going to be like, no, I'm not living with you.
Mm,
However, there are some instances that from my experience that you start living with a man and then you got saved. What were you supposed to do? Move out, put him out? Where you going? So these are things you have to think about. The Bible is very clear. The Bible is very clear about marriage. It's very clear. Now, how you want to uh, decipher that, how you want to think, put it the way you think, is very clear about marriage. It's very clear about marriage. Now, however you put your twist on it, then that's you. But I do believe, and I cannot believe that shacking, living together, better word, living together, um, is good. Now, but I don't uh, down anyone else to do that. If that's what you do, it's a personal choice. It is a personal choice. And so if that's your personal choice, I'm gonna love you still. I'm gonna just have my, but that's your choice. Um, so it's all of us are different and we come from different places. Like I say, one country choose to do their people do this over in another country it doesn't. So do we do what other countries do or whatever? I just believe you do what God is leading you to do. If you believe in God, you believe in him, then you're going to do what that book says to the best of your ability. It's not telling us to be perfect, but it's telling us that's our roadmap to living a pretty good life, not without trials and tribulations, but how to get through certain things. So if that's you choose to do, if you choose some other source of spirituality to say this is how I'm going to live my life, because each faith I have found have some good things concerning marriage. I mean, we go from the Catholic Church to the Muslim community to the Jewish community, the Christian community, Islam, all these different faiths, Hinduism has some good points when it comes to being marriage. And all of this is based on what they believe family is. And when you look at it, when it comes down to it, all of us are saying the same thing, but saying it differently. We're saying the same thing. So, um, if that's what you choose, happy for you. And if it works, even better. And then you could tell someone else how you did it, how you stayed in your relationship, and you stayed in your relationship and you wasn't married. There are some relationships even in Hollywood that have lasted and they haven't gotten married, and so um, they make it work. Are they wrong? Who am I to say that? I'm not God. That's their choice. That's their choice. I'm not God.
Right.
So are they wrong for living together? That's between them and God. My job is to love each and every one. It's not about your choice. It's about
Hmm.
what God has put in my heart to love. So,
Now,
mhm.
I have a question because, relationships, we talked about culture and different culture, different things for relationships. Now, back then, way back then,
Back then, how far
um,
back?
far back than I can think.
Then
Okay.
me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Where it started. Yes. There were arranged marriages. Uh, and I see now today why there were arranged marriages. However, I didn't agree with the force of arranged marriage.
The
Um,
what?
the forcing your child
Oh,
into an arranged marriage. Now, if you say, "Hey, child, this is what we want you to do because of X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah," and the child's like, "Oh, I'm down for that," and the other person's like, "I'm down for that," then if it's mutual, okay. But I did not agree with the force of nature when it came to arrangements. Now I understand why they did it, because of legacy and lineage and property and money. I understood all that. But what do you think? How do you think that would have played a part if that continued today?
oh my goodness. I think I think some people would like wouldn't mind that, but I don't know. That's a hard one because today I think people are so money driven, about having a big house, the cars, and this
Mhm.
and that. I think they would do it. They were like, oh no, but look, her daddy rolling over there, I'm gonna be rolling too. I think for today, a lot of people would do that. Now, the part of that is would it be good? I don't know,
Mhm.
but it brings me to the story of Rachel and Leah. You know, Joseph was tricked to marry uh, Leah, but he really wanted Rachel. See, this is the thing. We married. Those things happen. They looking at the one, and the daddy said, no, sir. My oldest daughter needs to be married first. You're not getting
Mhm.
that one over there. So you need to do A, B, C, and D. So I'm a short. Make this short. He in turn had to work because daddy seen two things in Jacob. So I think when it comes to arranged marriages, there could be good and bad turnout of it. However, uh, however, coming to America shows us coming to America. Thank you, Eddie Murphy.
Whatever you like.
Thank you, Eddie Murphy. Yeah, whatever you like to. I think watching that is saying that you know love is important. Love is important because your money gonna run out
Ooh, come on.
if you don't,
What
especially
happened when Jesus?
especially today. These chicks and these women, I'm sorry, I call them chicks. I'm sorry, I lost myself. These these women and men spending up some money on stuff, and
Yeah.
so that's why money plays such a big part of relationships now. How much money he got? I'm not dating him. How much this he got? What kind of job he has? Um, what kind of career he has? All these things play a part. So actually, we are really arranging our own marriages because we're saying, "Well, I'm not going to marry him unless he have A, B, C, or D."
So,
So we are really arranging our marriages. So being in an arranged marriage, I think, I don't know. I would say people today probably would do it for the money. Most people I know probably would not. I
Mm,
would not.
yeah,
Because
no.
let me tell you, at the end of the day, I need to love you. I need to be able to look at you. I need to be able to go to bed with you. I need to do all
Hmm.
these things. And if you're not laying on the pile of money, it might not look so good.
Yeah.
So, the arranged marriage today, I think some would go for it just for the money and property and what they could get out of it because it's still happening today. You
Mhm.
have young women marrying older men just for security. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I am saying they are marrying older men for security. You have young men marrying older women for security. So, whether it's called arranged marriage today, no, but it's still the same concept.
Concept. Yeah. So we have a question. It says, what do you do if the husband is letting his brother keep putting his wife down? What do you do?
What?
So what do you do if the husband is allowing the family to put down the spouse?
Girl,
We can't say what we would do, but there needs to be communication.
woo! Let me go professional, cause that right there. Okay, okay. Have you communicated to your spouse the issue that this is happening? Better yet, has your spouse observed the behavior coming from his brother? Once you have got that and you guys have talked about it and he still allows it, now it's time for you to step in and take care of it. You don't allow anyone to continually do a certain thing. Now, if he's doing it to you, yes, you step in and take care of it. Now, if he's doing it to your husband and your husband is coming back and telling you your husband is all day wrong, some things he needs to keep to himself. But if you're hearing this from your husband, he needs to not tell you those things because it's very negative. But
Mhm.
I would say if it is you, your brother and brother-in-law need to sit down and have a conversation. Not about why he's doing this so much that he stopped. Because it's
Mhm.
not about the why. It's because see the why you married to his brother. The why really doesn't matter.
Nope.
It is you need to stop.
Mhm.
And so we get into this. Well, why are you doing it? Why? And he's gonna say, well, you not this, you not that. You're not his wife.
Mm.
So the why doesn't matter. Is that he gets the message? I am not gonna accept you disrespecting or putting down my wife. If you continually to do that, then then my brother, there's no space in our home for you.
Nope.
Because we cannot allow, we said earlier, you cannot allow these family members to put their 2 cents in and their marriage is not a worth bunch of beans. And they're trying to tell you about yours.
Oh yeah.
Have a conversation, come to a decision, and if your husband don't stand up and talk to his brother about it, and he keeps telling you, then you all need to get your brother, your husband together, and you guys need to sit down and say, this is what we need from you. Your husband needs to handle that. He needs to say,
Yeah.
bro, I've listened to you talk about my wife. I really don't like it. And I would love it if you really not talk to me about what you feel is wrong with my wife. She is my wife.
Mhm.
And she will be my wife, and she's going to be my wife. And this is causing an issue within our marriage. So if you don't mind, respect me enough to respect my wife. And if
Mm.
you don't have anything good to say about her, please don't say it at all, especially to me.
Right. Well, you guys, we would love to keep having this conversation because talking about relationships can go on forever, baby. They can
Ever,
go
ever,
on
ever.
forever. Because there's all type of relationships that we deal with on an everyday basis.
Yes.
But you guys, please keep tuning into us every Saturday. We thank you. We appreciate you for tuning in to Mother, Sisters, and Daughters Coffee and Tea. Please click notifications. Please share, like, comment, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys
Happy
next
holidays, and may
Saturday
there be peace
on
on
Earth.
earth.
Bye, everybody.